Let us go for extrinsic semiconductor today. So what is extrinsic semiconductor? What is extrinsic semiconductor? In order to make sure that current has to flow in the semiconductor in the device, so we are going for more number of free charge carriers. So for that, what we are doing is we are adding some extra impurities to intrinsic semiconductor. So I can say here intrinsic semiconductor plus doping. Doping or adding of impurities, that is equal to extrinsic semiconductor. That is equal to extrinsic semiconductor. So doping means here adding of impurities. Intrinsic semiconductor plus doping. Doping means what? Adding of impurities. Excuse me. So here let us see. Again, these extrinsic semiconductors are being divided into two types. P-type semiconductor and N-type semiconductor. Let us talk with P-type semiconductor first. Let us go with P-type semiconductor. So P-type semiconductor, what is P-type semiconductor means? P-type semiconductor, where for an intrinsic semiconductor, if you dope P-type impurities, that means intrinsic semiconductor plus P-type impurities. P-type impurities is equal to a P-type semiconductor. So what are P-type impurities? P-type impurities are nothing but third group elements are called P-type impurities. Third group elements are trivalent impurities. They are also called trivalent impurities. Trivalent impurities, or they are also called acceptor impurities. Acceptor impurities. So this can be called by different names. P-type impurities, third group elements, trivalent impurities, or acceptor impurities. Now, what are trivalent impurities or acceptor impurities or third group elements? It is given by a shortcut method called BAGI, B-A-G-I. What is B? Boron. What is E? Aluminium. What is G? Gallium. What is I? Indium. What is atomic number of boron? 5. Aluminium. What is atomic number of aluminum? 13. Gallium 31. Indium 49. Add all this. 5 plus 13 plus 31. You will get 49. So these are the atomic number. This is also very important. Atomic number is also very important for you. So boron, aluminum, gallium, indium. You can remember by a shortcut method, BAGI. Right? Now here what I am doing is I am taking a germanium crystal or a silicon crystal, and then I am adding a trivalent impurity, which is boron. What is boron? It is contained by how many atoms? 5. If it is contained by 5, then I can write this one as atomic structure as it's a nucleus. And what is this first orbit? 2 electrons. What is the second orbit? How many electrons are there? Will be there 3. So 3 electrons will be there. Now you can check here. I am adding this boron material to germanium crystal. So this is a germanium crystal here. Here germanium, here germanium, here germanium, germanium, here germanium, germanium, germanium. If I add one part of impurity boron, say germanium, it's a tetravalent atom, isn't it? I told you already. It's a tetravalent atom means 4 electrons are present at outermost orbit. So here 4 electrons, if you observe, see germanium 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 electron is there. 1 electron, 1 electron, 4 electrons will be there here. one electron, one electron. Now, if you consider boron, if you mix with this one, boron has only 3 electrons at outermost orbit, right? So this electron forms a bond with the germanium atom. This electron forms a bond with germanium atom. This one forms a bond with germanium atom. This one forms a bond. This one forms a bond. But here it is not forming a bond. Only hole will be there here. See. So there is an empty state here which is called as a hole. So here this is possible only by doping boron with the germanium atom, right? So boron is nothing but p-type impurity. So if I dope boron with germanium or silicon crystal, then it can be formed as a structure like this. Now what happens? Previously it is not there like that. In intrinsic semiconductor, germanium is there here. Here also electron will be there and a strong covalent bond is found over there. Now if you want to break that covalent bond, how much energy is required? Very large energy. Now what happens? See. Now what happens means, here, likewise, a boron also exists here, a boron surrounded by again an electron, a hole, electron, electron. Again, boron exists here also, electron, a hole, electron, electron, likewise. Likewise, if you consider complete structure, what are majority charge carriers here? Majority charge carriers are holes. Majority charge carriers in p-type semiconductor forms a hole. Now, if I give certain energy to this electron, I can give a minimum energy to this electron. That minimum energy is nothing but 0.01 electron volts for germanium, if it is germanium. And if it is it may be 0.05 electron volts for silicon. Only light energy I am giving to this electron so that this electron goes and fill into this hole. Right. In turn, if an electron jumping from one point to another point, in turn creates a current flow. So how much energy I am applying means it's equal to 0.01 electron volts. It is for germanium and 0.05 electron volts for silicon. So when this amount of energy is possible means it is possible only when it is doped. Please do remember, only when it is doped. Right. So this is doped with boron trivalent impurity or p-type impurity. So therefore the energy has been decreased 0.01, 0.05. Right. So this is about p-type impurity, and in this p-type impurity I can say that here majority charge carriers are holes. Majority charge carriers are holes. Majority are holes. And minority are electrons. Minority are electrons. Minority are electrons. Now let us see where does Fermi level lies in p-type semiconductor. If it is p-type semiconductor, where does Fermi level lies? As we know that we have a formula, already we told in the last class, what is the formula? Concentration of holes P is equal to NV into e power minus of EF minus EV divided by KT. Divided by KT. Isn't it? Now, instead of P, what can I write, Amma? P are acceptors, because it's a P means what? Concentration of holes. Concentration of holes in p-type semiconductors are acceptors, isn't it? These are acceptors. So if they are acceptors, then concentration is acceptor concentration. So I can write this one as Na. Na is called acceptor concentration. Nv is effective mass of holes in valency band into e power minus of EF minus EV divided by KT. Now get me the expression for EF from this. What do you get here? Suppose bring this e power this side. What do you get? E power plus EF minus EV divided by KT is equal to NV divided by Na. That is equal to, apply natural logarithm both sides. What do you get? EF minus EV, EF minus EV divided by KT is equal to natural logarithm of NV divided by Na. That is equal to, cross multiply it, you get a EF is equal to, if you cross multiply it and bring this EV towards right side, what do you get? EV plus KT ln NV divided by Na. NV divided by Na. Now what is the meaning of this one? EF. What is EF? Fermi energy level. What is EV? Valence band energy level. KT ln NV by Na. Right. So here, which one is greater? Is EF is greater or EV is greater? I can say that here EF is greater than EV, because EF is equal to EV plus something. Plus something means so EF is greater than EV. So EF is greater than EV means where does Fermi level lies? Fermi level lies above valency band, above valency energy band. Now check here. Come to this figure. Come to this figure. This is conduction band. This is valency band. Valency band, more electrons, more electrons will be there. Where holes are present in conduction band. So therefore, in p-type semiconductor, holes are increased. Holes are increased means here holes increases. Therefore, it increases, and it goes over here up to this point. Holes increases. It goes up to this point, right? So holes from this point to this point, it been increased. So this is called acceptor energy level. Now see, actually instead of hole here, it is going up to here this point. So now holes are reaching over here. Holes are here. Now see, where is EF? This is actually EV. This is actually EC. Where does EF? EF is equal to EV plus something. Means it is lying above EV and therefore it is equal to this point. This is called EF Fermi level. This is EF Fermi level. And what is actually Fermi level? It is nothing but 50% of electrons are filled, isn't it? The same original meaning as that of Fermi level. EF is 50% of electrons are filled in an energy state. So this is also a 50% of electrons are filled here, and that level is nothing but this one. It's not here as that of a previous case. It's not here. See, it is not lying at exact center. But if you consider here also, it is having the same meaning as 50% of electrons are filled, isn't it? But it is nearer to what valence band, because holes are increased. No, here holes are increased. Here holes are increased. So many holes are increased. So therefore, Fermi level goes downwards and it is nearer to valence band, and acceptor level is in between Fermi level and valence band. See here, this is called acceptor energy level. That is called acceptor energy level. This is called valence energy band. This is called conduction energy band, and this is Fermi level, energy level. So here one important point you need to mention here is for competitive exams. In p-type semiconductors, Fermi level is nearer to valence band. That is important point you should note. In p-type semiconductor, Fermi level is nearer to valence band. In p-type semiconductor, Fermi level is nearer to valence band, and it is having an acceptor energy state also. It is having an acceptor energy state, and that acceptor energy state or acceptor energy level is nearer to valence band. Acceptor energy state is nearer to valence band. This EA is called acceptor energy level. Acceptor energy level, and it is nearer to valence band, right? So this is about p-type semiconductor. Next, let's go with the n-type semiconductor. The same similar operation what we did here. Let's study for n-type semiconductor. N-type semiconductor here, as you know already, n-type semiconductor. How do you form n-type semiconductor? Take intrinsic semiconductor, intrinsic semiconductor plus n-type impurities, If you dope n-type impurities, then it will form n-type semiconductor. So what are n-type impurities? N-type impurities are also called donors. N-type impurities are also called donors. They are also called donors, or they are also called pentavalent impurities. Pentavalent impurities. They are donors because they donate an electron, isn't it? Or fifth group elements. Fifth group elements are called n-type semiconductors. Now, what are n-type impurities or donors or pentavalent impurities or fifth group elements? It's given by a shortcut method. This is also very important for competitive exams. It is given by PAB. P means phosphorus. Fifth group elements. What are fifth group elements? P means phosphorus. What is atomic number of phosphorus? Phosphorus atomic number is 15. Arsenic. Arsenic atomic number is 33. Antimony. Antimony. Antimony atomic number is 51. Last one is bismuth. Bismuth. Bismuth, what is atomic number? 83. If you consider all these atoms, suppose for example phosphorus, phosphorus atomic number is 15. How many electrons are there in first orbit? 2 electrons. How many are there in second orbit? 8 electrons. How many will be there in third orbit? It is equal to 5 electrons. So therefore, if an atom is contained by 5 electrons at outermost orbit, it is called as what? Pentavalent impurity. Pentavalent impurity. It is called pentavalent impurity 5. Right? Now, I am taking a germanium crystal or a silicon crystal again as that of p-type impurity, and I am doping with phosphorus or arsenic, whatever it may be. Whatever elements here, PAB elements, P, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, bismuth, all are having 5 electrons at outermost orbit. 5 electrons at outermost orbit. Right? Now, if I consider arsenic, I am taking arsenic 33. If it is 33 arsenic, then what are the outermost electrons? 5 electrons. See here. First electron is this one, second electron is this one, third electron is this one, fourth electron is this one. And every time germanium crystal is there, every point. So each germanium atom will form a bond with the electron, corresponding electron here. It is forming a bond here. This is forming a bond here. This is forming a bond here. This is forming a bond here. Now what about this one? This is called fifth electron. This fifth electron is not forming a bond with any other one. Likewise, even arsenic is also present here. Arsenic is also present here. Likewise, wherever arsenic is there, one extra electron will come here. One extra electron. This is called as a free electron. This is called as a free electron. Now here, previously in intrinsic semiconductor, it's not there like this, free electron. Now, this is a free electron. Now, how much energy is required to move this electron from one point to another point? It's very, very, very small. How much it is required? It is required with 0.01 electron volts for germanium and also 0.05 electron volts for silicon. This is the minimum energy required to make this electron move away from here. If electron moves from this point to another point, then definitely current is flown in the device. That is what the meaning of the current flow in what we have learned in very first class. The movement of electron from one point to another point is nothing but current. Right. So this electron searches for a hole in the atmosphere. If it moves from this point to this point, suppose if it is find a hole, then this electron goes on fill into this hole, then immediately current is generated. But how much energy is required to move this electron means it is equal to 0.01 electron volts for germanium and 0.05 electron volts for silicon. Right. So this is about now you can observe here more large number of electrons are observed in n-type semiconductors. So I can say that here in n-type semiconductor, majority charge carriers are electrons. Majority charge carriers are electrons. Majority charge carriers are electrons. And there are only few minority charge carriers. Minority charge carriers are holes. Minority charge carriers are holes in n-type semiconductor. Right? Now, let us see what is the Fermi level. This is a very, very important question. One of the important question is this one, and also the important question is regarding Fermi level. So what about Fermi level? In the previous slides, we have seen the concentration of electrons, N, is given by what? N is equal to Nc into e power minus of Ec minus Ef divided by Kt. This is general expression for concentration of electrons N. Now here, N, here what is N? Concentration of electrons. But this concentration of electron, since it is donating an electron, this one can donate an electron, arsenic, antimony, bismuth, because they have large number of electrons at outermost orbit. No, so after forming a bond, they have free electron, so they can donate one electron. So I can write this concentration as donor electron Nd, donor concentration Nd. Previously, what we have written, acceptor concentration Na. Now I can write this one as donor concentration Nd equal to Nc into e power minus of Ec minus Ef divided by Kt. Now, let us find the formula for Ef. What is the formula for Ef is equal to? So here we can bring this nd this side and e power this side. What happens? E power ec minus ef divided by kt is equal to nc divided by nd. That is equal to apply natural logarithm on both sides. What do you get? Ec minus ef divided by kt is equal to ln nc divided by nd. nc divided by nd. So what is ec is equal to, now cross multiply it and bring this ef. What is ef is equal to? Cross multiply it and bring ef towards right side. What happens? What do you get? Ef is equal to, you get ec minus kt ln nc divided by nd. So this is the equation what you got. Ef is equal to ec minus kt ln nc by nd. Very important equation. Previously we got ef is equal to ev plus kt ln nc and nc nv n nv divided by na. Now here we got ef is equal to ec minus kt ln nc by nd. So compare both this ef and ec, which is greater. Ef is equal to ec minus something. This is minus something. So therefore ef is always less than ec. Ef is less than ec. So ec is greater than ef. So therefore see the Fermi level here. See the Fermi level. Where does Fermi level lies? EC is greater. So here it is EC and EF is here. Okay. And since electrons are increased, where are the electrons? Electrons in valence band have been increased because these are majority charge carriers are electrons. Just now we told majority charge carriers in n-type semiconductor are electrons. So more electrons are there. More electrons means electrons concentration increases. It is going up to here. Previously they are here in valence band. Now they are going up to here because we are doping that concentration with n-type impurities. So therefore the level of electrons have been increased and therefore the level is been going up to ed, which is called donor energy level. This ed is called donor energy level. Ed is called donor energy level. Okay. Now electron is here. Now how much energy I need to apply this one so that it will move from this point to this point in conduction band where holes are present in conduction band. If you want to fill this electron into conduction band, then how much energy is required? Very little energy. That energy is equal to 0.01 electron volts for germanium and 0.05 electron volts for silicon. 0.05 electron volts for silicon. Previously it is not like that. Before doping, how much energy? Very large energy you are applying. It's nothing but intrinsic semiconductor. Now you are applying a very small energy, which is 0.01 and 0.05 for silicon, and this electron will jump from here and then fill into this conduction and in turn creates a current flow. Now after this donor energy level, what is the level? Fermi level. See here, this is called Fermi energy level. This thick line is called Fermi energy. This is Fermi energy level EF. Now see here, Fermi energy level as that of, if you compare with intrinsic semiconductor, is not lying exactly at center. It is moving near to conduction band. This is very important point. Like important question, like they will ask like this: in n-type semiconductor, where does Fermi level lies? Fermi level lies nearer to conduction band. Fermi level lies nearer to conduction band in n-type semiconductor. Vice versa, in p-type semiconductor, Fermi level lies nearer to valence band. So these figures are very important. This one is important. These equations are very important for you. Okay. So is it clear, all of you? Is it clear? Yes. Next. Solve this problem. Tell me the answer. Give me the answer, ma. (435). In an intrinsic semiconductor, the free electron concentration depends on. It's not extrinsic semiconductor, it's an intrinsic semiconductor. In an intrinsic semiconductor, the free electron concentration depends on.
Effective mass of electrons only.
Effective mass of electrons. Anyone still? Still anyone?
Temperature of semiconductor.
Very good. Temperature of semiconductor. Can you tell me how it is? Can you tell me how it is?
Semiconductors have negative temperature coefficient.
Okay. Okay.
As
Yes. So semiconductors have negative temperature coefficient. Very good. We have an equation, Amma. For this problem, we have an equation. Someone have kept D answer. D answer is wrong. Intrinsic semiconductor, the free electron concentration depends on. See, we have an equation that is Ni square is equal to A naught P cube e power minus G naught divided by kT. This is called intrinsic concentration per centimeter cube. Right. Now see here, A naught is a constant. E power minus Eg naught is a energy gap at 0 degree Kelvin. K is Boltzmann constant. T is temperature. Now see, Ni square is directly proportional to T power 3. Ni is directly proportional to T power 3 by 2. So I can say here Ni is directly proportional to temperature T. Right. So if intrinsic concentration wants to increase, free electrons or it may be free holes, so what we need to increase? Temperature. So concentration of electrons or it may be holes depends on what? Temperature. So answer is C. Because you need to remember this formula, which is a default formula. Ni square is equal to A naught T cube e power minus Eg naught divided by kT. So concentration is depending, intrinsic concentration is depending on temperature T. So please do remember this formula and you need to answer like that. Right? Right. Next. Do this problem. Answer. Put in chat box. Answer. What is the answer for this? Anyone? Read the question properly and tell me the answer. Hello? Answer? See here. It's very easy. A silicon sample is uniformly doped with 10 power 16 phosphorus atoms. What is phosphorus here? Is it N-type impurity or P-type impurity? phosphorus. It's an n-type impurity, isn't it? Phosphorus is n-type impurity. Phosphorus P, right? It is doped with the 10 power 16 uniformly. A sample is uniformly doped with the 10 power 16 phosphorus atoms. Next, and 2 into 10 power 16 boron atoms. What is boron, Amma? What type of impurity boron? Sorry, this is phosphorus n-type impurity. What is boron? Boron is p-type or n-type? P-type impurity.
P-type.
P-type impurity is boron. So boron, how many atoms? 2 into 10 power 16. 2 into 10 power 16. If all the dopants are fully ionized, what is ionization? Ionization is nothing but merging. Mix all this. 2 into 10 power 16 P atoms plus 10 power 16 phosphorus atoms, boron atoms and phosphorus atoms. Phosphorus atoms majority charge carriers are electrons, and boron atoms majority charge carriers are holes. If you mix both holes and electrons, how many electrons are there? 10 power 16. How many holes? 2 into 10 power 16. What remains, Amma? What remains? Electrons. 10 power 16 electrons combines with 2 into 10 power 16 holes. What remains? 10 power 16. What are these? Holes or electrons? Holes. Holes. 10 power 16 holes. So what is the material? 10 power 16 holes means what is this material? Holes are majority charge carriers. So what is the material? P-type or N-type?
P-type.
P-type.
P-type material. It is P-type material. So answer is the material is P-type. The material is P-type. With the how many atoms means with the 1 into 10 power 16 per centimeter cube, atoms per centimeter cube. With 1 into 10 power 16 atoms per centimeter cube. So this is the answer. Likewise, you need to do like these problems. Okay. Next, let us go for another problem. So let us go with this one, which is called mass action law. It is called mass action law. What is mass action law? At thermal equilibrium, concentration of holes and concentration of electrons product is equal to a constant. Is equal to, isn't it? N into P is equal to Ni square. Concentration of electrons and concentration of holes is equal to Ni square. This is called mass action law. N is called concentration of electrons. N is called concentration of electrons. P is called concentration of holes. Concentration of holes. And Ni square is a constant. Ni square is a constant. Ni is constant. So the equation N into P is equal to Ni square is a constant. That is called as mass action law. This is called mass action law. This is called mass action law. N into P is equal to Ni square. Now here, from this mass action law, we can find the minority charge carriers and majority charge carriers. For example, take a p-type semiconductor. Take a p-type semiconductor and let us find it. Suppose I am writing here N into P is equal to Ni square. If it is p-type semiconductor, I write suffix as P. Suffix as P. Suffix P always represents p-type semiconductor. Np Pp is equal to Ni square. Right. Np. What is Np? N means electrons. In which type of semiconductor? P-type. So what is N suffix P? N suffix P means N means what? Electrons. Minority charge carriers in p-type. Minority charge carriers in p-type. What is P suffix P? P means holes. Holes in p-type. In p-type, holes are majority or minority? Majority. Majority charge carriers in p-type. Right? Now here, NP into PP. PP majority charge carriers are holes. P means holes, p-type. Suffix P means p-type. So I can write this one as acceptor concentration as Na. Because they are acceptors, no. So I can write that one as Na. So now NP is equal to Ni square divided by Na. So this is the formula in order to find minority charge carrier concentration in a given semiconductor. So what is minority charge? Electrons in p-type semiconductor. Suffix P means p-type semiconductor. Minority charge carriers in p-type is equal to Ni square by Na. This is the formula we can find for calculating minority charge carriers in a given semiconductor. Next, suppose take n-type semiconductor. If it is n-type semiconductor, now what will you find? The same formula, N into P is equal to Ni square. If it is n-type semiconductor, what will I write here? Suffix N. N suffix N, Pn is equal to Ni square. So what is N? Majority charge carriers, electrons in n-type. What is P? Holes in n-type semiconductor. So these are minority charge carriers. So Nn can be written as what? Donor concentration, because they are donors, no. Just now we have studied donors. Donors Nd into Pn is equal to Ni square. So what is Pn? Pn is equal to Ni square divided by Nd. Ni square divided by Nd. So what is the meaning of this one? This is a minority charge, minority concentration holes. Minority concentration holes in which type of semiconductor? N type of semiconductor. In N type semiconductor, it is given by Ni square by Nd, and it is calculated by Ni square by Nd. What is this one? What is this one? Minority charge, minority concentration, minority concentration electrons, minority concentration electrons in which type of semiconductor? P-type semiconductor. In p-type semiconductor, it is calculated by this formula, Np is equal to Ni square by Na. Np is equal to Ni square by Na. So using mass action law, we can calculate this concentration of charge, concentration of electrons and concentration of holes. Okay, right. So this is about mass action law. Now, can you do this one? Due to illumination by light, the electrons and hole concentrations in heavily doped n-type semiconductor increases by delta N and delta P respectively. The electrons and hole concentration in a heavily doped n-type semiconductor increases by delta N and delta P respectively. If Ni is intrinsic carrier concentration, then what happens? It is talking about delta N. Is delta N is less than delta P, or delta N is greater than delta P, or delta N is equal to delta P, or delta N into delta P is equal to Ni square? Answer.
హలో బాగున్నారా బాబాయ్? హలో హలో బాబాయ్.
Yeah, tell me the answer, ma'am. Answer. Due to illumination by light, the electron and hole concentrations, in a heavily doped n-type semiconductor increases by, electron concentration is increased by delta N, hole concentration is increased by delta P. Ni is intrinsic carrier concentration. Then what happens? It is increased by same quantity, delta N and delta P, isn't it? Same quantity is being increased. Is first option delta N is less than delta P? No, because this is same quantity and this is also same quantity is been added to N and P. Is delta, this is wrong, first option. What about this one? Delta N is greater than delta P? No, this is wrong. So what about the same quantity? Delta N is equal to delta P. So that C is the right answer. C is the right answer. Delta N is equal to delta P. Delta N is equal to delta P because same concentration is been added to with respect to N and P. So delta N is equal to delta P. Next, do this one. In a p-type silicon sample, the whole concentration is, if the intrinsic carrier concentration is, then the electron concentration is dash. Give me the answer first. Given data, right? Given data first. Given data. Whole concentration is given. Whole means P. P is equal to, what is this type? P-type set. P-type silicon sample. So P-type silicon sample means whole concentration Pp is equal to 2.25 into 10 power 15. If the intrinsic concentration Ni is given, Ni is equal to almost 1.5 into 10 power 10. Then the electron concentration is. So how do you calculate electron concentration? By using a formula, mass action law, N into P is equal to Ni square. So N into P is equal to Ni square. It's a p-type semiconductor. So Np Pp is equal to how much? Ni square. Np Pp. Screen not visible. No? Now is it visible, ma? Check the screen.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Yeah. So find the answer. 6.66 microns. Sir. Option is not there. No. Option is not there in A, B, C, D. Right. So N into P is equal to Ni square. Np into Pp is equal to Ni square. What is given? Pp is given. What you need to find? Electron concentration in p-type. So Np you need to find. Np is equal to Ni square divided by Pp. So Ni square is 1.5 into 10 power 10 whole square divided by Pp 2.25 into 10 power 15. 1.5 whole square how much? 2.25 into 10 power 20 divided by 2.25 into 10 power 15. So what is the answer? 10 power 5 per centimeter. 10 power 5 per centimeter. So answer is C. Answer is C. 10 power 5.